What would you do about the problem of Wilmore's youth not having enough to do?
We have talked many times about the possibility of having a skating rollerblade park, and once we think that might be a good thing, we think then of the liability to the city, and can we justify that with insurance and having our police force monitoring it? I am at a loss, to be honest with you, except the fact that we now have the park, the Wilmore Park and Recreation Center out here, and a lot of those things are happening out there. There are tennis courts, there are basketball courts. If we could just get something so the skateboarders would be a little bit more attentive to that instead of just skateboarding in the street, but I still don't know if that would change it. But I think we have come a long way.
We have $500,000 earmarked to a community building from a developer of the golf course. I think that would go a long way to helping build a community. And in addition to what Mary Jo would say, what I would like to see, I think we do need a skate park as well. I think that police would like to find a way to keep the children off the street, and I agree with that totally. But I think that there's money in the budget, and that's the type of development that we've got now. Whether the golf course, of course, is a long way away, but nonetheless, we do have a developer that has offered $500,000 towards that project that would help eliminate that problem. At this point in time, money again is the issue, and I agree that I think that we do need something for kids to go to, and I think that would work a long way towards solving the problem.
When you mention youth, the question is the skate park, because that's what most of the youth do today. I have to admit, I have been against a skate park in Wilmore for merely budget reasons and liability reasons. Liability insurance is quite expensive for something like that, and just the patrolling and supervision of the skate park, I think, would be a little strain on our current staff. Amy Fitch has done a great job with the summer rec program. I think maybe if we did anything, we can maybe try to expand in that area. The Centennial Park here has the basketball courts and the frisbee golf and those sorts of things. So I think there's probably things we can do to help the non-skateboarders. The skateboarders, I'm not a friend. I mean, I'm not their friend, I don't think, because I keep not wanting a skate park.
This is not a city situation here. This is to be turned over to the churches. There is no reason we cannot have our 9 churches with their youth directors get together and discuss what can be done, and then they can help. Then they can work with the city. So I feel that this is one of the areas we do not need to, as Jim said, the liability on skate parks and so on. And once, I was just walking tonight in the Ichthus park over there, and no one was over there using the basketball court. No one was over there using the frisbee golf. Now there were people, adults, walking and running and pushing their little grandbabies or little children. This is something we need to. We're a small enough community where we can communicate with each other through the churches and say, we've got a problem here, help us solve it.
What does Wilmore need to do to prepare for the growth, such as 4-laning of US 68 and the Forest Brook golf community?
The obvious thing is the dangerous intersection at the Y. We currently have a 2-lane highway and have near misses every day, and now we're going to funnel 4 lanes into 2 at the Y. So I think that's probably a top priority, is for us to urge the state and to look at that, as well as to fix that in some way. I don't know the answer, but that we fix that, because that's going to become even more dangerous when the 4-lane is done. As far as the golf course, I think that's going to be a good addition to the city, not only because one, the golf course is green space, and I like that fact, and two, it's going to generate a lot of additional revenue, not just from the homeowners, but this is not just a golf course, it's a Jack Nicklaus golf course, which generates interest from people all over the country. They can hold big tournaments there, and so I think the potential for the golf course to help the city is very great.
I thought the golf course was a travesty. I thought that it really hurt a lot of families over in that area when, and I don't feel that the majority of people in Wilmore were for it. The city Wilmore Joint Planning Commission was a 9-0 vote against it and not for it, and most of those people on that Joint Planning Commission are Wilmore residents. And for the city to vote for it, I thought the piano key is not in keeping with the Bluegrass Conservancy 20-80%, 20-80 or 30-70% land use, with 20 or 30 being the town area and then the green space. I do agree that it is nice to have a golf course, but it's those huge homes that they're going to be building out there that I don't think are helpful. I still say that we should stay to this comprehensive plan, but we already have it, so we'll have to work through that.
If anyone can tell me how 68 is going to be built, I would like to know. I came down through there the other day, and I would look on one side and then the other side, and I thought, I do not know how in the world 68 is ever going to be built. In fact, I was in a shop the other day, and in fact, the owner said that he wanted to know how 68 was going to be built. So he went up, he was going to take a hot air balloon ride to just see how that 68 was actually going to be built. Well, I'm not that anxious to know, so I'm going to leave that to the planners and the engineers, and I'm sure that in the long run it will be built. I too am concerned about the why. It seems to me that you take your life in your hands almost each time you pull out there. I've seen almost wrecks, and I remember when one of our pastors was here, he saw a crash and someone was either killed or almost killed, and that is a hazardous place that I do believe we need to work on. The golf course, as probably most of you know, I have opposed that because I do not believe that it is in the best interest of Wilmore. I think that a lot of the things it brings to Wilmore are not what Wilmore stands for. We have had the developers and different people said there would be no alcohol, there would be none of this, they love to play golf and all this. And I asked the person who was telling me what a wonderful thing it was and how much he loved to play golf. And I said to him, how many golf courses have you ever been in where you did not and could not buy alcohol? He said, none. So that's my point. I do not believe personally that it is the best for Wilmore. And golf courses are not that far away. They're not that hard to find. Yes, it would bring revenue. But personally, I think the bad part would be far more than what it would do for us in a good way.
I agree both with Mary Jo and Jim. I'm concerned about the why. I think that does need to be an issue that we need to take care of. Obviously, bringing 4 lanes into 2 lanes is rather scary. Going back to business, Wilmore's at a disadvantage, number one, because we're basically at a dead end, at an end of the road, and there's no place to go. So you have to have a special reason to come into Wilmore. Part of the reason I think that businesses don't do so well is because you have a population base of about 5,000 people that you're serving and basically only serving. So you need to bring more people in. I think the golf course coming on is a great opportunity for us to market our town, for us to have the ability to build the resources, to build the infrastructure, the downtown area, to have the resources to do that and possibly funnel that money into the downtown area. I think it's a great opportunity. I think it sits well with the agri space. the agri-type business that what we got. And personally, at this point, I can't think of a better way of generating revenue, much needed revenue for Wilmore. Also, on the alcohol sales, it is written, Mr. Kelly has written that as long as he is the owner, there will be no alcohol sales on it, and he has vowed that to us. So, you know, you can take that for what it's worth, and yes, I understand the situation of what Mary Jo and Lynn are bringing up, but at the present time, the owner has vowed that, and we do have that in writing.